You can't help but be astounded by the transformation of Zacchaeus that we see in today's gospel. Moving from a tax collector, right, who's extorting his fellow Jews for the Romans, to someone who gives half of his goods to the poor, someone who repays those he's extorted fourfold. And this man has undergone a major transformation just from the simple encounter with Christ. But think of us. Normally, when we're faced with the fact that we have sinned, when we're faced with the fact that we've done something wrong, and I come into the presence of the All-Holy One, or justice, for example, what do I tend to do? I tend to run from the fact that I've sinned. I tend to hide it. I tend to justify it. All kinds of things, anything to keep me from having to face the fact that I have actually sinned. So I think it's good for us to consider, what is it that makes this encounter different? Why is the encounter with Jesus in this moment with Zacchaeus anything different? The answer, I think, is pretty simple. It's just that our Lord, in a humble and a charitable way, a good and a loving way, he condescends to Zacchaeus. He's one who comes down from heaven to be with him. Most of us, when we want to hang out with somebody, we're going to hang out with somebody who's like-minded, somebody who's similar to us, with the same ideas, the same ideals, the same views on the world, all kinds of things, likes and dislikes. And if Jesus had just done that, like if the second person of the Trinity had just stayed in heaven with those who were like him, well, we would never have been saved. Like, salvation would not be ours. And so it's the condescension, it's the humility of Jesus, right, which Zacchaeus recognizes. That's what enables him to be able to own up to his own sin, to own up to his faults, and ultimately to be transformed. When Zacchaeus climbs that tree, he knows he doesn't deserve to be there. He's sort of furtive, for lack of a better word. He's somebody who's trying to get a glimpse, trying to see. He's not going to be in front of the crowd because everybody knows he's a tax collector. Everybody knows that he's a sinner. And yet, when he encounters Christ, that transformation happens. The challenge for you this week is to enter into a self-emptying act of charity with someone that maybe you wouldn't normally be with or talk to or hang out with. Whether it's just giving money to the poor, an act of charity to someone who is poor, whether it's praying for the souls in purgatory, right? Whatever it happens to be, I want you to give of yourself, to empty yourself as Christ did, for the sake of bringing others to that same transformation that Zacchaeus had in the gospel. Don't be afraid to take the next step to drawing closer to Jesus. Just say yes. Subscribe here to 2 Minutes to Virtue.